Social media platforms are racing to tackle a wave of concerning misinformation surrounding the midterm elections. Lies about rigged machines and stolen elections spread rapidly after the 2020 election and the COVID pandemic. Recently, we've seen reports about companies like Facebook and TikTok failing to block advertisements with blatant misinformation about when and how to vote in the upcoming midterms, leading to confusion among voters. Nancy Watzman joins us now. She's a spokesperson and advisor at New York University's Cybersecurity for Democracy program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So who are the most vulnerable when it comes to being influenced by misinformation?
Look, in a sense, we're all vulnerable. Social media, it kind of runs on engagement, and people know how to, who are placing these ads, know how to kind of create emotional content that really gets people, angry, scared, et cetera. And when you receive that kind of information, then your impulse is to share it broadly and be outraged, et cetera. So it's really a problem for all of us.
But Nancy, I feel like we talked about this so much during the last election, prior to it, and taught people what to look out for, or at least taught them to be suspicious of some of the stuff that they see on social media, and nothing has changed. So now we're seeing sort of a ramping up of various memes and misinformation. What sort of role is this playing in the lead up to the midterm elections?
Well, it's playing an enormous role because people get their information from social media now. It's one of the main ways that articles, video, et cetera, are shared. And so if there's content that is misleading or even downright, false, that can be a real problem for the elections.
So tech journalist Cara Swisher was with Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation Sunday to discuss misinformation on social media. I want to play a bit of what she said, and let's talk about it.
This is where people get their news, a lot of news. And before this, we had sort of information obesity. Not enough people got good news. Now they get a lot of information, but not actual facts.
So do social media platforms have a duty to stop misinformation? Why haven't we seen a stronger crackdown on that end?
Right. I mean, look, each social media platform, in the absence of regulations, laws around this, they make up their own policies, and then they have to enforce their own policies. And it's very, very difficult to have kind of broad standards under those situations. And some are doing a better job than others, but it's a really difficult problem. It's not an unsolvable problem, but it continues to be a huge issue.
So then the question is, can anything really be done about it? For a long time, I was of the mind that, we're the problem. Like, we are, our software is broken, that we seek out information that reinforces our own point of view, and then we don't ask any questions as long as we see it. But the more I read about it, the more I realize that these algorithms play a huge role in what we're exposed to. And so I think that maybe these software company or these platforms could do more to limit exposure to clearly misleading information.
Sure. Look, if you invest resources, there's a lot of ways to detect this kind of information. We know the kinds of patterns and tropes that they have, and there are ways to detect, stop it, slow it down, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And in the test we recently ran, actually, YouTube did a good job of finding some of the most blatant election and misinformation that we tested. But at the same time, yes, we also have to individually be on guard and make sure that if something's making us angry, sad, et cetera, that we take a beat before we share it. But yes, there's a lot that social media platforms can do.
That's such a great point. If you're finding yourself having some sort of extreme emotional reaction, take a beat. Look at how this image is crafted. Is it trying to encourage you to share it? Sometimes you see stuff like, I bet you no one's going to share this because blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's telling you something right there, right?
For sure.
Nancy Watzman, thank you so much.
Thank you.